Everybody, Carrie Cox here. How are you guys doing? Hopefully everybody's doing well out there. Have you ever had where you sit back and you're on a health specific journey? Let's say losing weight, or maybe it's gaining muscle mass. So you get online and you look at all this information from everybody out there and trying to assess, oh, this person, well, they work out 7 days a week and they're lifting and they're doing these hardcore lifts and they're just ripped. And then you're like, okay, so I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to max myself out and I'm going to work out 7 days a week so I can be ripped. Do you wonder why, after like weeks of doing it, that you feel like you haven't gained that muscle mass? You're not ripped, you're exhausted, you've destroyed yourself a little, you're in a lot of pain, and things are just rough? Ever had that happen? Or a diet. So and so went on this massive cleanse, and all they drank for 2 weeks was water and cayenne and lemon. And they lost all this weight. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get so thin, la la la. And then you do it and you may lose a little bit, but as soon as you go back to doing what you're normally doing, you pretty much are the same. So I recently watched a show on Netflix called Unwell, and I thought this is like so true. And they hit on, like, first series is about essential oils. And I've lived the debate of the essential oils. I've got people come in, they take essential oils all the time. It's amazing. Does such great things for them. And then I got other people come in and they're like doubled over in pain. They're struggling to figure out, and they've done everything. They've cleansed, they've taken essential oils, they've done all these things just to support themselves, and they're just in so much pain and they can't figure out what's wrong. Well, everybody and health facts that impact what's going to work for you or not work for you is going to be very different. My health journey, even compared to some of my siblings' health journey, is going to be vastly different based on decisions I've made as I've grown up. When I was very young, was anorexic. I had an eating disorder for a good chunk of time. And most people, if you've had an eating disorder, that's always a battle with you. You can easily slide back into doing what you did prior because it's kind of just natural after doing it for so long. So you have to actively be aware of that. But I've also lost my appendix, which very much changes my bacteria. That also indicates that I have bacterial imbalance. I've got a heart condition that I've dealt with. Oh, I got it a lot. I carry a mutated gene. Some of my family members don't carry the mutated gene. So all of this about me makes me very unique in how I'm going to support my health and what I'm going to do to keep myself in good health and good weight and all of those things. Also, compared to my siblings, I've done bodybuilding. None of my siblings have done bodybuilding. They've done weightlifting. They've done certain things, but they haven't done what I've done with the weightlifting. And me going in and setting them up on the same exact schedule that I currently do, where they either have not done anything or have done it here and there, is going to make a massive difference in the results they're going to get. So you have to take into account when you're looking at your health, are these people in the same situation? Most people, we go and we're like, we connect with them and like, this person's overweight, I'm overweight. This person has that disease, I have that disease. But even disease factors can be because of various things. Someone who has high blood pressure can be because of lung situations, or it can be kidney factors that are going on. It can be stress. It can be adrenal. It can be liver. There are a lot of variables that impact blood pressure. And so two people who have blood pressure can find very extreme differences as to what helps with that blood pressure. So And it comes to the same with all health. So there's a reason why there are so many different methods out there to supporting health, and why everyone can get a very different response. Somebody even with cancers, doctor cancer treatments, one person can do this and it just clears everything out. And they don't take into consideration the diet, the lifestyle, and things that people are doing with that. They're just, this person has this cancer, we use this, and it works for them. But it doesn't work for everyone. Keto diet works really great for some people, not so great for other people. It has to do, you have to realize that the way you sleep, if you get good sleep, is going to impact your blood sugar, your weight, your mental state, and all of that's going to impact your overall health. It's very hard to have good health and not be sleeping. It's very hard to lose weight and not be sleeping. Sure, there's ways you can hack your body to force it into something for a time, but those are not sustainable factors. You do have genes that can very much impact that, but genes really only make up 5% of what's impacting us and how we respond to things. Most people take genetics and lifestyle factors and combine them as genes, but oftentimes we have the same results or we have the same disease because we're living the same lifestyles. We think the same way, our bacteria, we're in the same environments, we're eating the same diets, our mental health is the same, the way we perceive life is the same, and that all impacts genetics. So if you were to go and completely extremely change those things, your genetic factors and what you're putting out and producing is going to drastically change as well. Bacteria can make or break what types of foods you eat and how they impact you. You have people who live in different countries and come to the US and start doing the modern Western diet, and it totally disagrees with them. They end up with all sorts of disease factors because their body and their bacteria of how they were raised and dealt with things isn't adjusted to the modern way Western diet factors. So you can create a massive amount of disease by just those things. Bacteria is a big impact on most things that are happening in the body. Your bacteria are going to convert a food into something you can use or not. It's going to feed good bacteria, opportunistic bacteria, bad bacteria. I say that way because bad bacteria in the right balances are meant to do something beneficial. Your E. coli that everybody sees as bad, in the right places, doing the right function, provides you with vitamin K, important for bone development. So they're bad bacteria. The bad bacteria is a mere factor is if you have them and they're overpopulated. They're commonly known for overpopulation and creating a lot of disease factors and issues there. So the point being is that we have to be able to have someone come in. We have to assess the factors. But I feel even in this day, we overanalyze. Cholesterol would be one of those things. You go to the doctor and you have higher cholesterol, they are going to freak out. Yes, you do want cholesterol in good range. And yes, if it's out of control, it can cause problems. But oftentimes it can be within a even kilter and not be bad, but the doctor is freaking out and automatically puts you on a statin. If you are concerned about those kind of things and you want to do a statin, I highly recommend you go read Dr. Natasha McBride's Put Your Heart in Your Mouth and go read The Big Fat Surprise. That's the name of it. It's been a minute since I've read the book. But those books will go in and they will give you studies and they will give you information about these studies. A lot of information we have, there can be truths to it, but some of them are being blown out of control and causing further issues with people. So be cautious who you're seeing. What do they understand? Does your doctor understand the holistic side of things and healthy things that are considered completely bad in the norm? Do you have someone who's going out of their way to educate themselves on you and your specifics and helping you to nourish and balance and not just band-aiding your issue? Health is a very individual thing. It is something that you need to be able to have blood tests. You need to have, I do scans and blood testing. People bring into me and I put that in. I also do look at a history of what's going on within the family. I am first and foremost looking at your gut and how to support the gut, because your gut is controlling everything that gets in to feed or create disease in your body. Then you have environmental factors that you also need to look at. So there's a big compass of what needs to be looked at. And there is no, I used to in the very beginning, I hate when people say always, never. Those don't apply when it comes to your health. And really, even some to the vast extremes of poisons and different things like that. One person's poison is another person's saving grace. Things applied appropriately, and no, that's not me saying go out and take poison, but things applied at the appropriate time in the appropriate way, and then there is an ebb and flow to everyone. There are times that you need to flush. There are times that you need to feed. There are times that you're going to have high inflammation that you do not necessarily want to shut down because it's helping drive factors. It's about understanding why the body is responding the way it is. It's trying to talk to you and tell you something, but most of us don't listen to it and we just shut it down. I'm having a lot of pain. Shut it down. I'm having a lot of anxiety. Why am I having a lot of anxiety? Maybe it's because my body is sensing that I'm getting sick. Maybe it's because my bacteria are imbalanced. Maybe it's because I'm not getting the proper foods in to digest, to calm the body and produce the hormones and chemicals I need to keep me at a balance. They're all signals. And yes, they can get out of whack, but you can feed the body and balance the body. And yeah, sometimes maybe medication is necessary. But I will tell you that medication is not going to solve it. It will keep you alive, but it's not going to solve the problem. And if you're doing a medication, then you should take another step to making sure that you're being able to rebuild the body and balance it back to where it needs to be. And understanding in this process why it came out of balance in the first place. What is it that I'm eating every day? What is it that I'm exposed to on a regular basis? What is it that has brought this to me so that I can make sure to alleviate it or help the body to flush it? And not everything can you completely get rid of. There are people who work in jobs that are highly toxic, beauty professions. There are a lot of chemicals in all of those things. And that will be getting into your tissue, and you need daily support to flush those things out. It will cause things like fibromyalgia. It can cause things, massive inflammation, chronic issues, because you're chronically getting those things in. And if you're not actively working to get them back out, they are storing in your system. And your body does not want you to have toxins, especially to your vital organs. They need to be able to be removed and pushed out. So you need to be able to support that. And if your diet consists of going out to eat every meal, there's a high likelihood that you're not getting the nourishment you need. There's a lot of discussion out there. I hear, just in the course I did, do you need to take supplements? No. And true, you don't. But to balance good health, if you are not supplementing, there's a lot of things that you need to be eating and being in your diet every day. Most people are not committed to eating the way they need to have that balance. So that is why I would say supplementing is necessary, because most of us, how many of you are having access and eating glandular on a regular basis? How many of you are eating solid organic foods? How many of you are getting quality pasture-raised proteins and the right amount of protein every day? How many of you are getting fermented foods on a regular basis, daily, multiple kinds, to support bacterial balance? How many of you are not putting in a bunch of water that has chemicals in it? How many of you are applying things every day to your skin, or even eating foods that are actually pulling out nutrients? Are you drinking distilled water? That's pulling minerals out of your body. Are you drinking or eating, having caffeine? Are you having alcohol? All of these things are going to rob your body or contaminate your body in some way. And you need to be compensating for that in some way to be able to support the body to rid itself of those or to get back in the nutrients that it may be taking out of you. So it's important that we understand the food, support the food, and most of us don't have time in our days for busy working, running businesses, running families, running, going to school, all the things to be able to prepare that. And if you can, great. I definitely highly recommend you do that over taking supplements. But if you're not doing that and you're not showing up every day for those things, then yes, I recommend that you supplement them. With all of my patients that come in to see me, I am recommending certain simplified ways of adding things into the diet, as well as here's a regimen. And if there's something that you just ultimately are like, I hate greens, I'm not going to eat them, okay, then I'm going to recommend you take a supplement for that. But also, when you're going to the person that's recommending your supplement regimen and products that they're offering, how much effort have they put into making sure it's a whole food, it's quality, you're going to actually absorb it? They're making sure your digestion's working. Because if you're bloated, gassy, diarrhea, constipation, all those things, and you are not balancing that in the process or taking something to support that, these supplements that you're taking in are not fully going to be ingested. It's hard enough, even when things are all optimal, for your body to fully take everything in that you're taking in. But let alone having a bunch of digestive issues and then not absorbing. So it's important. We all have different factors in our health. It's very important to work with somebody who understands. And if you are one of those people who wants to go out and do it yourself, you need to be educating yourself. You need to be finding multiple sources of different types and educating yourself on mechanism of actions, educating yourself on what your genetic factors are, your blood factors, your digestive factors. Understand all of those things before you just go do something because somebody else is doing it. Educate yourself on the quality of whatever supplement you're taking in. How do they process them? Where do they source their stuff from? Is it organic? Is it just something that they get for a good deal? Does it come from China? Where is it coming from? If you are not assessing those things, there's a very high likelihood that you're creating more issues. This is why most people work with someone like me to understand quality. I'm researching this. I have been doing this for 10 years of studying. I've worked at a Whole Food store where I had lots of education by the supplement companies themselves. I currently do a lot of educating myself on the supplements that I have and where things are sourced and what are they chemicals? Are they actual food? How are they processed? All those different things, because that all matters in the end of you, how you're going to absorb it. How's it going to push the body? How's it going to support the body? What it's going to do, what it's not going to do. So you can get yourself in a lot of trouble when you're just constantly looking at other people and what they're doing and just trying to put that in place. When it comes to fitness, following someone who is a very experienced lifter and trying to do the same things, unless they are specifically creating it's not about what they do for themselves, but they're creating something for someone like you in your situation that's new or has been in it to some degree. Their programs are created for people like you, and they understand that you can't expect the same results at experienced bodybuilder versus the novice new bodybuilder are going to be very different in how much you're going to do, types of lifts you're going to do. And ultimately, really, you don't need to make it complicated even when you're experienced. But there are different levels. Make sure what you're getting and how you're supporting yourself is on your level, and that the factors and mechanisms of actions and things are same as yours, or at least similar. A lot of times people will get lucky, and not a lot of times, sometimes people will get lucky and they'll find something that worked for somebody else, but they can also be causing different factors to be happening. So just understand what you're doing and educate yourself, or find yourself an expert who has gone another way to educate themselves. There's a lot of people out there that consider themselves experts because they went through the journey for themselves and figured it out for themselves. Well, just because I can figure out a journey and how it works for me doesn't mean that all the other people that need help with this, I'm going to be able to know what they did. I'm going to tell them to do the things that I'm doing, but their body may not respond the same way. So that's why I have people come into my office and I do a Zyto scan. It gives me other factors that I need to take into consideration when I'm helping to nutritionally support them. And that I just overall, I'm understanding medically what they're doing. I'm understanding physically what they're doing, mentally, emotionally what they're doing, because all these things can impact the body itself. So find yourself someone. Not everything, just because essential oils work really well and cured somebody of cancer over there, does not mean it's going to do the same thing for somebody else. It's all very dependent on you, the situation, the quality of what you're using, how you're applying it, what you're doing. So you can't just always run and do that. And I see this way too much, and people cause themselves way too much injury and a lot of heartache in the end when they go and they do it. And listen to the person that's educating you and figure out what it is you need for you and how that works out. So I try to educate people. Not everybody wants the education, but the more you know and understand about your own body, the better choices you'll make in the end. So it's highly important. I hope this is helpful and not discouraging, but realize that just because, again, one thing works for somebody does not mean it's going to work for everybody. And it can cause someone issues, even if it was completely amazing for somebody else. So I hope this is helpful and not discouraging. If you guys need help with finding things that work for yourself, I mean, ultimately starting with your gut and getting the digestion working is important. And oftentimes people can, introduce digestive enzymes, boost acidity, and simple techniques that can help get you there. And then from there, you can start working towards the other things. But if you need my help with any of that, please let me know. And you can go to my website, utahfoundationalnutrition.com. You can do a survey there that's free, and I can help guide you with what I'm seeing going on with the body. It gives me information about the way your body's handling things. And I will talk to you guys all later. I hope you guys have a great day.